lawless cities and lawless towns.
I mean, does any other, let me try it a different way. Do you think vetting people at our border is...
Does the Secretary of Homeland Security hate people who are different from him? Does he support the rule of law? Senator Kennedy asks both questions directly, and the answers set the stage for one of the most grounded exchanges on immigration enforcement you'll see in this Senate. Welcome to American hearings. When a senator and a cabinet official actually agree, the substance of what they say matters more than ever.
Mr. Secretary, welcome.
Thank you.
Mr. Secretary, do you hate people who are different from you?
No, sir. I wake up every single morning and say, love the people, love the call.
Do you support the rule of law?
Absolutely.
Isn't a big part of your job to enforce the immigration laws?
Yes, sir, it is.
Can we agree that illegal immigration is illegal?
We should all agree on that. Yes, sir.
How many people do you think the Biden administration allowed into our country in violation of our immigration laws?
Unfortunately, they didn't keep good records. We don't even know how many kids were let into the country. Estimation is somewhere around 340,000 kids that we're trying currently to look for. With the numbers are estimated between 12 and 20 million came in illegally over the 4 years of the Biden administration.
And President Biden ignored the immigration laws with the cooperation and indeed, in some cases, the encouragement of some members of Congress, did he not?
Yes, sir. That's my recollection of it.
Why do you think the Biden administration and some of my colleagues, your former colleagues, why do you think they believe in open borders?
Sir, I have my theory behind that, and I would love to entertain the thought, but I'll try to keep my thoughts to myself and just do my job here. But I think I know my theory is pretty strong.
Well, tell me about it.
I'll probably get myself in trouble.
It's okay. You're already in trouble.
Yeah, but I don't know if this is a place to give my thoughts. I try to work in facts as much as I can, but it's hard to explain why they would allow that many people to come in and turn our streets into lawless cities and lawless towns.
I mean, does any other, let me try it a different way. Do you think vetting people at our border is racist?
No, sir. It's exactly what we should do because we're charged, CBP and Department of Homeland Security is charged with keeping our homeland safe. We have to know who's coming in. We catch terrorists on a weekly basis trying to enter this country illegally or already entered this country illegally.
Do you think vetting people at our border, it sounds like you do, is prudent?
It is absolutely vital to the job we do to protecting our homeland.
And every other country vets people at the border.
They should, yes.
What happened at Delaney Hall?
Well, a lot of claims were made, and they just absolutely weren't true. The first one came out and said it was overcrowded. We have today, I believe, under 700 detainees there. It's licensed for just over 1,000 beds. We have twice the square footage at Delaney Hall than the state penitentiary does in New Jersey. They said that the medical condition was horrible. We have twice as much medical staff per person than the state penitentiary does in New Jersey.
What happened with the protesters?
Well, the protesters is interesting. The governor and the state officials were going out and saying that they were peaceful protesters and ICE was agitating them. That all changed when the governor finally allowed the state police to do their job. And by the way, they're professionals, and the locals there were absolutely professionals. When they came in, they quickly realized these aren't peaceful protesters. These are rioters.
Were some of the protesters or rioters violating the law?
Absolutely. Every time you verbally assault an officer by not saying that you're, whatever words you want to use, but when you say you're going to kill them and all their family, that's against the law. That's violating federal policy. When you put your hands on an officer, we had officers bit, we had officers scratched, we had officers poked, we had officers hit. We had objects thrown at them. We had car windows smashed in. All that is a federal crime and punishable, and we have zero tolerance for it. And those that we could arrest then, we did arrest. Those that we have on video, we're going through the video today, and we will eventually find you and arrest you as well and charge you.
Now, you have the right in America to protest, don't you?
I support the First Amendment, but you do it in a peaceful manner.
But you don't have the right to protest violently or in violation of the law, do you?
That is correct, Senator.
Isn't it? Last question, I know. Has it been your experience that most cops, most Border Patrol officers, most ICE agents will leave you alone unless you do illegal stuff?
And the senator's time has expired, so if you can keep this quick.
That is absolutely correct, and they love doing their job. They don't do it for the money. They do it because they're called to do it. And regardless if you're a local PD, you're a sheriff, you're state, or you're federal, all of them are willing to do their job because they feel called to do so. And you're not, for the most part, there's always a few bad apples, but for the most part, those officers, unless you're breaking the law, they're not going to bother you.
Okay.
That's my experience anyways.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Senator Hyde-Smith.
Welcome back to American Hearings. Kennedy opens this exchange with two questions that would sound unusual in almost any other context. Do you hate people who are different from you? And do you support the rule of law? Coming from Kennedy, they're not provocative. They're a baseline. He's establishing shared ground before the harder ground gets covered. Secretary Mullin's answers are clear and immediate. The exchange that follows has an unusually cooperative tone, not because Kennedy softens his positions, but because the witness holds the same ones. The vetting question is where the exchange does real work. Kennedy asks directly whether checking the identity and background of people entering the country is racist. The Secretary's answer, it's not just prudent, it's vital, names what's at stake plainly. Terrorists are being caught weekly at the border. Every other country vets entrance. The premise that doing so reflects hostility toward immigrants is, in Kennedy's framing, simply false. The Delaney Hall section is the most revealing. Kennedy's line of questioning exposes the gap between how the situation was initially characterized and what authorities actually found when state police were allowed to do their jobs. Officers were bitten, scratched, hit, objects thrown at them, car windows smashed. Kennedy and Mullin document it specifically, not as rhetoric but as a legal record. These were federal offenses. People were arrested. Those still on video are being identified. Kennedy's closing principle, cops will leave you alone unless you do illegal stuff, is the same line he returns to across multiple hearings. It's not a throwaway. It's a consistent standard, stated plainly, that applies equally to every enforcement context he discusses. Subscribe to American Hearings.